The coronavirus is changing the world faster than ever. In just a few months, it has forced the advocates of austerity to spend aggressively and even the biggest proponents of globalization to argue for a worldwide shutdown, at least temporarily. Within the world of employment too, it has brought remote working from the niche to the mainstream. Companies that 2 months ago had nothing to do with tech are jumping on the bandwagon, allowing telework wherever possible and quickly adopting tools like Zoom and Slack, which seems to be the only way to survive in the short term. And that has brought a number of tech evangelists to start preaching the virtues of technology, how it could save the world and how it is inherently well suited for social distancing measures. News reports about Amazon hiring en masse and online sales surging are being used to support the theses on the growing obsolescence of the physical world. But how well does it match with the ground realities? The answer to that could be found in the labor market trends. A recent white paper written by 2 Chicago Booth professors, Jonathan I. Dingle and Brent Neiman, is a good place to begin with as it explores the question, how many jobs can be done at home? Technology's potential is not limited. Using the responses to Occupational Information Network (O*Net) surveys from the United States, they come up with a classification on what professions and roles are teleworkable, in other words, tasks that can be performed from home. In addition to identifying which occupational groups and the U.S. states fare well on teleworking using a quantitative score, they also compiled the rankings of 85 other countries based on the International Labour Organization statistics. As one would expect, a positive correlation is found between the per capita income, plotted on the horizontal axis, and the share of jobs that can be performed at home. Among jobs that can be done at home, education services top the chart with the unweighted share of teleworkability at a significant 83%, followed by the professional, scientific and technical category 80%, management of companies and enterprises 70%, finance and insurance 76%, and information 72%. Meanwhile, those with the lowest proportion were accommodation and food at just 4%, agriculture, forestry, fishing and hunting 8%, retail trade 14%, construction 19%, and transport and warehousing 19%. Cumulative 68.7% of the labor force, 63.4 meters people, which comes in at 43.53 meters. If we factor in the share of jobs among these that can be worked from home, that gives us a rough figure of 4.18 meters, representing 9.6% of the group's total. On the flip side, the 4 occupational categories with the highest proportion of jobs that can be performed at home account for only 5.63% of the labor force, that too driven by education's 4.05%. In absolute terms, that means just 3.43 meters people. Adjusting for the respective teleworkability weights of these categories yields us a value of 1.44 meters, with education again accounting for a disproportionate share. However, it must be pointed out that this methodology might run into one problem: the occupational telework scores given for the United States are possibly much higher than for Pakistan in the corresponding sectors. One imperfect way to overcome that is to apply a discount factor to the US scores so they become more relevant to the local labor market conditions. After a number of iterations, 0.5 appears to be a reasonable value for that, which closely corresponds with the results provided by the 2 academics. Other works such as Gottlieb, Grobosek and Poschka 2020 could also be possibly used to get an idea of the developing nations. Which takes us back to whether technology is really the panacea some believe it to be. Even in the oft-cited case of booming e-commerce amid the novel coronavirus, what is generally ignored is how that creates more demand for logistics, a very labor-dependent sector. Thank you for watching.